I mean, I'm 45 seconds. I mean, if you just want to put a minute on there, minute 45 is fine. Hello and welcome into this week's Idaho Central Credit Union Coaches Show. Wherever you are, I hope you are doing well. We've got a lot of great stuff to cover on the show this week. Big news from the NECC for the upcoming semester schedule. Plus, the A's continue some of its awesome summer programming. And Boise State about to head out on a huge road trip for the League of Legends team. A new team in tow. How are they going to do against some of the titans in the sport? We're about to find out. It's going to be a great show. And let's start by jumping into the news of the week. The NECC has announced more information about what they describe as a next-level LAN event called the Kickoff Classic. The three-day event, August 27th through 29th, will be hosted in conjunction with Bethel University and will be held at their beautiful brand-new Bendix Esports Arena. The inaugural Kickoff Classic will feature competitions in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Rocket League, and Overwatch. More information is available at neccgames.com, and I cannot wait as we get back to normal to have some of these awesome LAN events. Super excited to see what the NECC is going to do at this next level event. We've talked a lot about it. It's getting closer and closer. Boise State will be competing in an exclusive 16-team League of Legends tournament in St. Louis over the 4th of July weekend. Gateway Legends, sponsored by Fair St. Louis and others, will take place at St. Louis Ballpark Village and feature 3 days of competition for the top programs. Notable invitations include national champions Maryville and Winthrop, alongside some other top programs that Boise State has seen a lot of in the past years: Miami of Ohio, UT Dallas, Harrisburg, Grandview, Arizona State, and others. All will be produced by Nerd Street Productions and viewable during the event. As I said, a new League of Legends team for Boise State, which we'll talk more about later on in the show with Doc Haskell. Going to be a great challenge for this team. Cannot wait to see how they do and how that helps them prepare for the fall semester. Well, NACE has been having some spectacular summer webinars, and there's going to be another pair of them coming up. The first one hosted by MSI and Henderson Engineering. Learn what tech works best for your practice facility and how to utilize your space. Moderated by NACE Marketing Communications Manager Emily Cox. The webinar will be hosted via Zoom with an open Q&A. You can register for the webinar at nacesports.org/webinar2. The second webinar that's coming up is the NACE National Office hosting its third summer webinar next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time. That is 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. The webinar will go over different approaches to the esports programs can take to developing their arena based off their resources. The arena planning webinar is free to attend for both NACE members and non-NACE members with registration. Is being hosted by Fair Play, Hussey Seating, and Full Sail University. To register, visit nacesports.org/webinar3. And finally, we're getting closer and closer, as crazy as it sounds, to the fall semester, and the NECC has announced its full schedule of competition, at least on what games we played on what days. Very excited to see if Boise State can maybe defend some of those titles they have in NECC as well, as they did announce that it will be Monday Valorant, Tuesday Rocket League, Wednesday Rainbow Six, Thursday Overwatch, and Friday League of Legends. If you're interested, connect with them at neccgames.org. That's been the news of the week, brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who is helping members achieve financial success. And now it's time to welcome in Boise State head coach Doc Haskell to talk about all things Boise State, including we talked a little bit about Fair St. Louis. You've got a new League of Legends roster that a lot of people are very, very curious about. Dean Wood graduated, who's been here forever. Let's talk about some of the players that we're going to see in the fall and some of the players that you'll get a firsthand look at Fair St. Louis.
Absolutely. We've got a new look team here. Owen Satoris being one of those folks, Andrew Hiemauer, top and jungle. We haven't seen new folks in those areas with the exception of Ethug a little bit last year. We've got Andrew Russell in his final semester. Ascent, great player, but he's going to graduate. Awesome. He may even go to Astronaut U a little bit when he's done here in a master's program. And as you mentioned, we have not seen the bot without Rob, Goblin, and without Dean in that. The good news is Goblin continues. Rob Pharisee returning for another year, playing amazing D1 Masters level, and he comes in with one of the best young players who we've talked about before, right? Brett Narkowitz from Glide, Oregon. And right now he's challenger. This is the highest ranked team we've seen for us in a long time. The only issue, they haven't played together a ton yet. So we've got to put those pieces together, and hopefully we'll be able to do that on the road.
Yeah, I think it was the mind-blowing stat. I don't remember if it was you or it was not Koba, the Boise State League of Legends coach, who told me that our challenger NA support rank, like 54, I think. His replacement, 51. Absolutely just wild that you could have someone like Dean, who is so incredibly talented. I'm not going to say replace, because that's not the fair word, but almost just have the next player be almost as equals. Absolutely crazy. So we talked about Gateway Legends. There's a ton of teams who we've seen in the past who have had their way with Boise State. I mean, we've played Maryville. We beat it. We took them 20 minutes. That was the goal.
Right.
What are your expectations for Gateway Legends? Because I mean, I would even call you crazy. We're going to go in and win. What are your expectations? What are you trying to get out of that event?
Well, we know our bracket, so we did draw ASU. That's a tough squad. We did draw Miami, Ohio. They're a blue blood. Yep. They're going to come ready to play. So honestly, our expectation is to prepare deliberately, to draft deliberately, to talk about game plan, and to really, not to steal from Belichick, but to establish our level of competitive output and as our baseline, and then continue as we go. We'll try to get that as high as we can. We think we can beat teams in our bracket. We think we can advance to the second day. We think we can advance to the third day. What we'll have to do to make that happen, though, is get really good at drafting, really good about calling objectives, really good about understanding our win condition and taking away theirs.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. That's the one thing that I have always, I don't know if I say enjoy about college events, it's just the nature of the beast, is that there's a patch coming up right before this event. So some things that might have helped Boise State. I know Rumble has kind of come back into dominance. More of a jungle nerf, though, so we should still be good. But that is the one thing that I'm sure has to have you and Koba just ripping hair out, is just, really, there's a patch while we're preparing? I mean, that's got to be a little tough, I would think.
It'll happen. It'll happen for everybody, and it's going to happen all the time anyway. We have to be proficient on 6, 7 champions with an ability to play different comps, the ability to coordinate, fights together. We've got some of our folks. We've got, Andrew and Owen playing together. We've got our mid and bot trio playing together, making sure that they're spending time preparing together.
And I'll ask the last question. I'll be the bad guy. I'll address the elephant in the room. Is this a team going to be able to get done what Boise State teams in the past in League of Legends haven't been able to get done? Do you think this team is better, and do you think this team can claim a Mountain West title? Because that is the last thing that this League of Legends team is missing, is a Mountain West title. They always fall short. Do you think this team can maybe get it done in the coming years?
Yes. Our conference is getting tougher, but we are getting better and more talented and more experienced. And as we demonstrated with Overwatch this year, what's happened in the past is certainly part of the record, but it does not determine the future. This team can win and should be able to win a Mountain West championship in League of Legends this year.
I appreciate the insight. Cannot wait to see how Gateway Legends goes. Remember, produced by Nerd Street if you want to check out any of the events. Let's transition into something else that might be on people's mind. It's definitely on my mind. Speaking of the conference, fall semester, getting closer and closer. We're sneaking up on it. Boise State in the past has done what we call the Gridiron Rivals, where our esports team will mirror the football schedule. This year, however, Doc, you challenged the entire Mountain West to join us. You've made a whole schedule for everybody in the conference to follow. What inspired you to create Gridiron Rivals, I would say 2-3 years ago?
Well, we honestly, we wanted to make what we did relevant to the rest of the campus. And creating that schedule was key to that for us, right? We're going to play UTEP. Let's challenge their esports. Even if we can only find a club League of Legends team, we'll take our B team and we'll play them, right? Whatever we can do to create some competitive value as we get ready to play a school that otherwise doesn't have much, history with our squad, but just to make it relevant. And people love that. In fact, this year when we met with our new athletic director, he suggested, hey, would you guys ever be willing to play the other schools that we do, in football, you play them in esports? I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's do that. We'd been doing it. And so we're carrying on with that, this time with the support of the Mountain West schools. So all of the schools are going to do it. I think we have a graphic there in the VT1 for that. But it basically, everybody will play all of the conference schools on their schedule in all 4 games during the week that they meet. And if they don't have that game, then they simply won't play it. It is it's kind of it's not exhibition, but not every school will have every game, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's something. I remember when the schedule got posted in the Boise State Discord, I was like, wow, the Doc put a lot of time into this, and it's something that I'm definitely excited to see. And I was going to say, I mean, you obviously, have sort of the hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod blessing of Boise State's AD. How have the other conferences, or how have the other schools in the conference kind of, accepted it? Have they been a little hesitant? I mean, how have the other schools in the conference accepted your sort of schedule? Hey, we should do this. Because I know in the past it'd be like, hey, sometimes we might play this school, but we might not be able to play this school because they just didn't want to or they didn't get enough time. How has the rest of the conference accepted your format?
Well, and you're telling me it's my format, but really the Mountain West put it together for the purpose of making that happen. You can see it right here. Well, they put it together to show what everybody was doing in football.
Yeah.
And we said, hey, let's use this, because the biggest problem was coordinating who is going to play who when.
Yeah.
But they already created it for us, right? Now, it is Mountain Division. It is West Division, which means we will only see a couple of the opponents from the other side in the fall, but we will see everybody in the spring. So fall is mirroring football. In the spring is going to be exactly like we had this year, where we are playing in a round-robin tournament that every school that plays that game is going to play.
Yeah, I mean, you did mention, we won't see the full West Division, but you see the Boise State column there with the Bronco head. I mean, I think for the most part, you're going to get teams that people want to see. You could see Nevada's on that schedule, who is a team we have a ton of history with. You could see Colorado State's on that schedule. I know in League of Legends, I can't wait to see that. Fresno State, an up-and-comer in Overwatch that gave us a run for their money. I mean, there's only one school I would say that's missing. That would be UNLV, and we have no control over that. It's just that's how the conference schedule crumbles. So I'm super excited. I always love the Gridiron Rivals. I think Boise State did a great job, and I can't wait to see with the full conference support. And I was going to say, I know at times we had kind of experimented with the hardwood rivals, where we kind of mirrored the basketball schedule. Anything similar, or do you think those round-robin tournaments you talked about are kind of going to replace that?
Well, the round-robin tournaments are going to happen no matter what.
Yep.
We're going to backfill with hardwood because we want to tie what we're doing in with what our women's basketball team, our men's basketball team are doing.
Yep.
We're going to find ways to make our preparation each week and a competition that we play each week align with what's happening with athletics this year.
And I'll be honest, I mean, talking about mirroring the Mountain West, it started. We had to put a pause on it. I seriously cannot wait to see, hopefully, Boise State back in Vegas, looking to claim another Mountain West title in the spring. I know that's what they used to do. I can't wait. I hope.
And I don't want to tip to anything too early, but there are talks with the Mountain West and with the HyperX Arena there at the Luxor about hosting something more deliberate with what they're doing there. It's a great facility. It would be amazing to have multiple of our teams down there in Las Vegas playing teams from the other schools.
And I'll say it for you. It's sweeter when the confetti falls on you in Vegas than when the confetti falls at the Esports Arena, I'm sure, when you're able to claim that championship.
I will have to guess because it hasn't happened.
Exactly. I'm saying, it felt great to win this year. It'll feel a whole lot better if we win in Vegas if that happens. Well, finally, we've always talked about it. This feels like it has been a constant topic because it is, no matter if it's college football or esports, recruiting never stops. Can you give us some update on some players that have got your eye that might end up at Boise State? So,
visiting us tomorrow, Jonathan Foraker from Maryland, a really, really strong contenders player, and we're excited to have him here. He's an off tank. He plays some DPS. He's played some main tank. He's phenomenal. He played most famously with Basilisk. We know Jackson Parker, a former Boise State student and a great player. He's doing fantastic. Luke Sullivan from Pennsylvania is one of the top players in the nation as a DPS player. Won his state championship in Pennsylvania. Very interested in Boise State. We're working with Luke, and we're going to get him to come out here and visit this year with his parents as well. He's phenomenal. And actually, very, very excited about Emiliano Flores, Durtho. He's from California, had some great conversations with his family recently. He plays with a bunch of people that you would know. He is about a 2,200 peak Rocket League player, MMR. I mean, as high SSL as you can get. I think you got to start changing the letters at that point if you're 2,200.
Yeah.
But he's interested in Boise State. Super, super smart folks. Everybody I've mentioned, 3.5 GPA or higher, fantastic students. We're going to be able to continue this conversation and see if there's a home here at Boise State for them. But right now, I mean, Fish, we're able to recruit some of the best players in the nation. Yep. At least to have a conversation. If this isn't the school for them, then we love them. They have our excitement and our blessing. We're going to celebrate them wherever they go. But maybe they'll come here.
I'm going to say, every time we talk about recruiting, it feels more and more like you're turning that Overwatch team into Alabama, where the Alabama players say, yeah, I mean, practice was harder than any of the games we played because our B team could beat anybody. I mean, that's really what it feels like for Overwatch, because we know how talented this squad is. You have more and more kids coming in that have already committed. You have a couple more that you just named that are insanely talented. I mean, this honestly feels like it's going to be like, yeah, we practiced the Boise State, B team, and honestly, that was harder than the game we just played this week because that team is so talented. I mean, you're going to have a very tough time on your hands. You and Shifty, I do not envy your spot at all if all these kids come because it's going to be like, I have 12 talented. Can I enter 2 teams in this tournament? Because we'll probably get first and second place, which I know you hate doing. I know we've had a couple opportunities like that. But this Overwatch team sounds stacked is where I'm trying to go. It's crazy. I don't know how you're going to juggle all that talent.
You know what? We're going to let them figure it out themselves in a large way. I mean, we're gonna play them as a big group from time to time, and based on who we're up against, we'll look for interesting swaps to give people an opportunity to play together. When it comes serious tournament time, we're going to take the top of our depth chart as established through inter-squad play and through competitive play. And we're gonna run with that group, and I think that there's a lot of. I mean, we talked about it before. Every single one of our players on the roster have a play versus ring that, of course, has the NECC and the Mountain West logos on them because all of those players contributed to winning that championship, whether or not they played in the final game.
Yeah, I think that's one thing Boise State did a really good job of in tournaments that allowed, I think we had a couple tournaments that allowed mega rosters where we were able to play.
Call it, the tall roster.
Yeah, all 12 players, so you could kind of mix and match. We got the Blorange squad, as I like to call it, with the blue and the orange together. So I will say, and I mean, we talked about it. Who knows when this is coming? It could be 2023 for all we know, Blizzard. But the last question, have you started to sweat a little bit that the roster size is going to shrink in Overwatch 2, and you might have to have 3 talented rosters instead of 2 because we are going down to 5v5. Does that even cross your mind, or is it like, let's just get the best players, and when Overwatch 2 comes out, we'll go from there?
We are, at our core, we're a university, and we're always interested in strong students, and if they are also strong players. They don't come here to be part of a professional roster. They come here to go to school and to be part of a college roster. And that's not always the case at other schools, right, where they limit their roster size, and those folks are there and can be replaced. What we focus on is a little different because there's always a role. There's always something that you can do here, and we've seen it with a lot of different folks go from a starter on the competitive team, and as that level increases, they find themselves in a different role on the competitive team, but also a different role. I think a Nerdy Bird is a perfect example, right? Already played and was a starter on that team in the when our last trip to Vegas with that Overwatch squad. Fantastic player. As that level gets higher and people's interest in the game morphs, right, there are opportunities to take on different roles in leadership, roles in scouting and preparation, roles in broadcasting. It doesn't mean as our talent level increases and more strong students come here that there isn't something for someone to do. And there's always an opportunity to explore a different role that you've never had the opportunity for. So I would say that as the talent, we're not squirming at all with with Overwatch's changes. Players change games. Paul Vaughn, famously, League of Legends player. I've had enough League of Legends. I think I'm going to go. I mean, next year, very likely on our Valorant team, you're going to see a player known as Red Hots. There's opportunity, right? There's opportunity to try new things and to develop new. I mean, that's why we choose the people we do, because they are multi-talented and very resilient.
Hey, you're the head coach. As long as you're going to be okay with, let's say, some coaches show in the middle of fall where I say, hey, Doc, who's your starting main tank this week? That's going to be the question. As long as you figure out how to deal with those. And I know every coach loves being asked who the starting quarterback is. I'm sure as long as you figure out how to deal with that.
You'll find out at game time.
Yeah, we'll see who gets
You'll find out on game time.
But as we wrap up this Idaho Central Credit Union coaches show some fantastic things. Of course, once we get into the fall semester, it's going to be a ton of fun. Any final thoughts you want to add? I mean, I know you're getting ready for a trip to St. Louis. Any final thoughts before we close out here?
No, we're really excited to get this year going. We're excited to have people in the arena again, and honestly, it's a great time. We'll talk about it at some point, but we are running a camp this summer, the ICCU Esports U Camp.
Nice.
And people are going to be able to come in and spend time in the arena, play on the stage again. It's going to be fantastic.
I will say, we've had a couple of broadcasts this week where we've been able to have the full desk. it's getting more and more back to okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. I'm totally excited. That has been Doc Haskell. Thank you for joining us. Have fun on your trip to St. Louis. Hopefully this new look roster, even if they don't come away with the win, gives you enough hope that maybe in the fall they'll be able to start winning some of those tournaments that Boise State's a part of. But that is going to do it for us this week on the Idaho Central Credit Union Coaches Show. Remember to tune in every Wednesday here on the Boise State Twitch page to get up to date with the Broncos and big esports news across the country. But until next time, I'm Michael Fisher. Have a great evening.
So